Hi, everyone. Yay. Hi. So good to see all of you. Thank you for taking your time to spend with me today. I do see a couple of people are trying to get in as well, Layla. I've got some little notes here that so some people are trying to get in, just so you know. Anyway, so I've been asked to do this for a few years now, and I've denied. So finally, they twisted my rubber arm or my boa or whatever you want to call it, and here I am. So just give me a little hands up of how many here actually are a survivor, TBI survivor, just so I know. Yes, how many in the house? Yeah. So, like all of you, we all have a story. I don't know that mine is compelling at all, but anyway, here we are. We'll see what happens. What I thought I would do is share my story, but also add one of my coping mechanisms is fun. It's helped to get me through. It continues to help get me through. And maybe if we can find a little bit of humor in our daily existence, it will help. Anyway, so my story, not unlike a lot of you, I have this is my third concussion, but this one was the most life-changing. This one was the most one that cost me my ability to work, the ability to provide for myself, the ability to be independent, the ability to drive. It happened 7 years ago, and I'm still in shock that I'm not back to what I was, that I'm not able to kick it the way I used to. My first accident, which was more catastrophic, was in 94, and I got rear-ended on the 401 while stopped for construction. And in that moment, I lost consciousness. And I've learned that since all of this, concussions are cumulative, so brain injury is cumulative. So this accident, which was in 2017, was less severe in terms of the accident and car damage and all of that stuff. And yet it's been the most life altering for me. So when it first occurred, I could only read, sorry, my boa is eating my boa. I know it's afternoon, but there's always boa time. Anyway, there's always time for feathers. In the first time, no, what was I saying? When this first happened to me, I couldn't read children's books only 2 minutes a day. I still struggle with books and reading and direction. My speech was definitely impaired, and some of my speech impairment, I wasn't even aware. So I would be speaking and carrying on a dialogue or emailing and thinking I sound just fine. And the people around me were trying to have to grasp at what I was really saying. So that was, one of the cognitive issues, amongst many. As well as some physicality as well. So I have been unable to drive. I'm still not able to drive. I feel like I lost my place in society. I lost my identity. And I still struggle with, where do I fit in now? And what I recognized too during this time, at one point I needed PSW care daily, and I wasn't allowed to go out in the world without care, without someone. So on a July afternoon when it's beautiful out and the PSW shift finishes at 2:30, I had to stay in, because of the physicality of where I live as well. There's stairs and things like that. So it makes it very difficult for me to just step outside. So I had to stay in. And I realized in this journey, if you will, how much I lived my life outside more than inside. I worked crazy hours. I had two professions before. I worked crazy hours per week, but they were random because I dealt with the public. So in my free time, I was free, and I could hop in my car if I was bored or lonely or whatever, hop in my car and out I'd go, drive, travel, go see a friend, go for dinner, whatever I wanted. And so I realized only through this journey that I used my home as a sanctuary and as a place to sleep and recharge and shower, but that's it. I was gone, at my own choice. And now, since this happened, I was now inside. I was living inside. And I found that, and I still find that really challenging. And so I had to find ways to manage. At one point, my living room here was set up. Oh, it looks like a physio clinic, all with all of the Bristol boards of all the numbers and the treatments and all the names and things that I had to, do. Part of my healing journey, I had an amazing medical team. So I feel very fortunate. But I did 3 years of vestibular physio. I did 3 years of what do you call it? Vision therapy. I did occupational therapy, still do. I did speech therapy. I did OT, neuropsychology. I have PSWs, RSWs, which are rehab support workers. All this crew, this amazing crew that's gotten me to where I am now. But it took not a village, but a city, to kind of get me here. And so when I look back even now at how far I've come, even in preparing for this talk today, I thought about, again, my living room being all boarded up with therapy. And so it was awful. I live in a tiny place and I'm living in the clinic. I'm living inside. I'm living in. So, it can get, as I'm sure a lot of you feel, it can get a lot of, it can get depressing. We all go through it, not to mention the physical side effects of the emotional, what happens, when you experience a brain injury. So that being said, I had to find my own way to cope, and short of mimosas at, 9:30 in the morning, I found fun and I found humor. I miss being fun. I was pretty fun before, and I miss being fun. So I had to find my way to find some fun, and I still try to do that now. So even in the smallest things, so I've tried to pull together some things, because we get focused on where we are now. Sometimes we forgot where we've become, but I pulled out some of my props. So for example, so I have a mic here, anybody have anything to say? And the great thing with this mic, I love this mic. I was with a very fun friend and we were at the museum, and that in and of itself, I know all of you for traveling. I've just got wheels as of a year ago. Now my wheels are wheel trans, so that's a whole other story. And I travel from district to district to try. I say I could be in Paris by the time I'm in York Region. But I try to make it an event and wear my hat and bring my walker. And I hate my mobility devices, but now I'm learning to live with them, and the walker comes in handy. Anyway, so those are my wheels as of the last year. But I was with my friend, I think she might be here today, and we were at the museum. And again, both of us, we're really struggling to do the museum, but we did it. And in the gift shop, they have this mic, this Wii mic. So this mic is part of karaoke, mini karaoke. Well, you don't know where you're going to need mini karaoke that fits on your phone for you to break out in karaoke on the corner at some point. So I said, oh my God, I have to have this. Like, it's just goofy and ridiculous. And so, here we are. Needless to say, this mic does not fit my phone. So yes, I can get an adapter. Yes, I can but that takes away from the mininess of it, so I now often take this thing out with me, even though it's attached to nothing. And I have gas with it. It's really funny. It's funny people's response when you hand them a mic, even if it's not attached, they suddenly respond like they're speaking into a mic. So this is the, ridiculousness of my world, that I try to find things to amuse me, to help cope, to help find laughs, to help. So when this first happened to my friends, they made me this helmet. And I don't know if you can see it, but and it's a very good helmet. Like, it's a proper legitimate helmet, although apparently now that it's all stickified, it's no longer qualifies for the construction site. But the basic thing was to take care of my head, right? And I loved it. I thought it was great, and it was funny, and it suited, it suited me. It was their get well card. And so I'm sitting here one night at 4 a.m, because I don't know about you, but with a head injury, sleep went out the window, and now I'm happening at 4 a.m. and no one else is. So I'm online searching the world over, and I say, how can I display this helmet and my head injury, and how can I embrace it, and how can I display it? And so behind me, if I go this way, there's a blue head. I searched the world over, and I found this blue head way out, in some country, I don't even know where, but so I bought it. It's like, okay, I need a head for my hat, for my head, to constantly remind me that A, I have this injury, but B, we can look at it, one way or the other. So it's all these little things that help me build in my fun. One thing that I found really missing in recovery, and just going to, sorry, I'm going to go on and on and on. I've been told I'm verbose. Um, I say I'm voluptuous and verbose. Anyway, was clothing. So now, after being able to dress out in the world in my work, now all I'm wearing is bloody physio clothes, you're going to physio every day, awful. And one thing I missed was my perfume. I was like, my daily perfume. So I put perfume on for you guys today. And sometimes I'll wear it just at home, because you can't wear it anywhere anymore. You can't wear it on the streetcar. You can't wear it in the clinics. You can't. So I said, okay, let me wear it here, right? So sometimes I would pull out my, whatever made my dopamine level raise, whatever just brought me up a little bit of joy, a little micro joy, a little something I would do, because boy, oh boy, do we need it. We need to find the little joys in every little thing. They call me Glamour Puss at physio. I don't really know why, but they, you just have to sashay as much as you can. So another example of fun, if we get to, I'm getting off my story and more to the fun. There was a Christmas thing, and I don't know about any of you, but I did not feel like going. I didn't want to go, and yet we need to go as much as we can, and I did not want to go. And this Christmas thing was at this place where they wanted you to wear an ugly Christmas sweater or that kind of thing. Well, of course, I don't have anything ugly, right? So what's the girl to do? So I took my cane, and I just decided this sort of the last 20 minutes while I was in the shower, forcing myself to go. And I took my cane, and I have fairy lights. Everyone, just so in case you don't have it, you must have fairy lights in your house. It's really important. It helps your psyche. It helps everything. Anyway, I took my fairy lights and I wrapped the fairy lights around the cane. So it was almost like a candy cane, if you will, and went out on the street, and we went to the place. Well, I got so many smiles from that lit up cane, my cane, my mobility device cane, which I can't stand, but it does help me, lit up like a candy cane. Oh my God, we ended up getting like best seats in the house. We got drinks sent. It was just ridiculous. And that's an example of trying to incorporate some fun. Now, I say with full, disclaimer, should you decide to light up any of your mobility devices or anything like that, please get clearance from your medical people, because I got in trouble. I was so excited about, what I had done, and endorphins, and I felt really great. I'm meeting my OT the next day, and I'm telling her about it, and I got big. If she was a teacher, I would have got a detention or a suspension, because I had it on unsafely. So I had the batteries around the hand where you hold the handle. Apparently that's dangerous. Who knew? So should you decide to modify for pleasure any of your devices, full disclaimer here, you must check with your OT. Doesn't mean you can't do it, or whomever. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You just gotta, find a way to make it safe. It turns out I should have had the battery pack at the bottom of the cane, not the top. But now I know for the next gig, right? But my story is one that it's been life-changing. And again, I'm sure not unlike a lot of you. And I find it changing in terms of even my friends and my family and my relationships. what I'm able to tolerate, what they're able to tolerate of me. So there's been some losses, you know, with some friends and family. There's been some new gains and new joys too. So it's everybody has their journey, and we cannot change or predict how people will feel about our situation. Heck, we don't even know how we feel about our situation. But I had to learn again the word planning and pacing, and I think Rachel's in the house, and I never used to swear. I swear now since my brain injury, but I hated that term. I hated it. I still do, because it, my spontaneity is gone, you know. However, they are right. You can have more fun if you plan and pace it. And sometimes it doesn't make sense because part of the fun is the spontaneity of things, but you can do more if you plan and pace. So, okay. It really does work. And I know sharing stories with other peers and colleagues, like someone I know just went to the theater, and the planning and pacing she had to endure to attend the theater was worth it for her, but it took a long time. So it is part of what we all have to do, but we do it. And so I don't know, I look at my life now and I have really come a long way. But I had to plan and pace even phone calls, even talking to people. I have very dear friends in DC. And so when we would talk, it would be like a visit, 2 hours on the phone. Now I had to say, okay, I have to time it, I have to limit it, I have to cut them off. But they were lovely, they still are lovely. And they would just say, okay, I'll wait for you, Lori. I'll just wait for you. And now, you know, my party time is like 10:30 a.m. Which, where the heck are you going to go at 10:30 a.m.? It's very frustrating. And part of my rehab was with our RSWs, rehab support workers, who were amazing and still are amazing. But I would have them for 3 hours, and their role was to get me back out into the community. And I got angry. I said, what the heck are we going to do at 10:30 in the morning? Where are we going to go? How are we going to have fun at 10:30 a.m.? What, you know, doing what, right? You can only have so many breakfasts. Well, you can actually never have enough breakfast, but you know what I mean. So at one point I said, okay, if you're here to show me a good time, then I would dress up and put flour in my hair, and we'd go to a brunch somewhere, or all of this at a cost, but still you've got to go and got to do it, to help adapt to the sounds and the noise and so on and so forth. So they were great to help introduce, you know, all the stimuli. It's still an issue 7 years later. It's still an issue. At one point, though, I remember with a friend, we thought, okay, since my timeline is now only in the AM, we went to go for breakfast, and we didn't even get past the menu, and there was too much chatter. And I love chatter because it means there's life, there's people out, there's people alive. We had to go, I had to go. It was too much. That was probably after the first year still, so say 6 years ago. So 7 years later, I'm able to tolerate more. I can do lunch, I can do dinners, I'm starting to attend a theater now, a movie, depending on the genre. But I had to change. For 6 years, I said, no, I can't go. No, I can't go. No. And people stop inviting you after a while. And so I was feeling like I'm falling into the abyss of nothingness, especially because my life was so out, and now it's just in with my cat. And I wanted to be invited. So one of the things I found, I don't know about all of you, but I had to cut myself off of social media in 2020, pre-COVID, because I found I got very sad seeing what I kept missing, seeing what I kept saying no to. I would be sad. So I just cut myself off so that I couldn't see it. And then I would allow my family or friends to tell me about it when we connected, but I couldn't watch what I was missing. It was too heartbreaking for me personally. So yeah, I've had to kind of reestablish what routine is now, what life is now. And listen, I'm still figuring it out. There's no hate to tell you, there's no, I thought this would have been done by now, a long time ago. And so what I'm learning is that it's ongoing. I still struggle with a little acceptance here and there. So again, the fun really helps me handle what I'm not able to tolerate otherwise or accept otherwise. One of the other I remember, again, in preparing for this, I started thinking about, all right, talking about fun, I want to narrow down fun. The reason I want to do that too for all of you is I feel that there are so many topics in our world based on brain injury. There's so many areas we can go, and you know, not enough time. So I thought, let me just focus, you know, kind of on one area, and we can come back to another. Lady Gaga's in the room, but I told her we're busy. Anyway, the dancers, I let them go. One of the things I wanted to do early on, I needed to get moving. I wanted to move. I miss dancing. Not that at this age, where does one go dancing? But even my annual party at my office, I couldn't go anymore because I was always the first on the dance floor and the last to leave. And when you get this age, you grab a dance floor anywhere you can. And so my friend would say, Lori, just come for the dinner. Just come. I said, no, because I'll be too sad. So one of the things I found was in my home, in this little environment, I would try to find things on my own to make me move and do things. And so I decided I'm going to teach myself to hula, you know, because who doesn't want to hula? And so I went on YouTube, thank goodness for YouTube, and I'm learning the hula. It was hard, especially cognitively, but it was kind of goofy and fun. And then one of my RSW sessions, she's like, okay, Lori, what do you want to do? I said, we always walked on the boardwalk near me, and she was very pregnant and due, you know, very soon. I said, do you want to hula? Let's hula outside. So we're hulaing on the boardwalk outside. We put YouTube on my phone, and we're out, you know, in the world just doing the hula, not necessarily well, but we're doing it together. And she was a great sport and did it with me, and we giggled and laughed, and she swears that helped bring on her labor. Her baby came 2 weeks later, but you know, it was really helpful. And again, just finding these goofy little things. I saw a mention about earplugs from, is that Doug? Thank you. Yes, I again through Rachel turned us on to loop earplugs, a lot of us, and I really like those. I have 2 pairs now. They have a new one called Switch. My struggle with loop is they have such fabulous designs that I want, you know, more and more of them, just for the aesthetic value, but I really like them. I think they're really great. For me personally, they've helped a lot. So now, again, back to that planning and pacing, I go out with the tools. So those earplugs for sure, especially for restaurants and or theater or anything. And I have my sunglasses, prescription. But if I have to wear sunglasses inside, I have to make sure they're fabulous, right? So, you know, I made a point when I got my prescription of let them be outrageously wonderful. And I also have some, I forget what you call them. I call it gin, it reminds with gin and tonic. I would call them my gin and tonic glasses. I don't really drink a lot. I just have a lot of drinking references, but they are from my vision therapist, and they make things, they affect the light. So it blocks out a lot of the light and it helps bring your nervous system down. Geez, I forget what they're called.
Do you want help with that, Lori?
Yeah.
Syntonics.
Tonics, right? Yes, there we go. Yes. So see, gin and tonic, sin tonic, close, right? So they're helpful. So I find now too, and I have to say, I've got some really great friends who know that I need to travel with my toolbox. So my gin and tonics, my loop earplugs, my eyewear, my cane, my, you know, it's like, oh, I'm a lot of work now, but some people are still hanging in with me. And so now we're slowly doing some more things. So traveling a little bit more. I went to theater in Buffalo. That was a big deal with 3 people. but they were kind enough to include me, knowing full well, I have some problems, and we have an escape plan. So I booked my own seat so that it was an accessible seat, and it was close to the exit, and they were still in the theater, the three of them together. And so it was okay. I didn't need them, but were beside me, we're watching the theater. But I had my strategy, right? I had all my tools, and they were really kind in that I said, if we're talking and I have to stop, I'll just put on my gear and you guys, but don't not talk as a result of me. I just don't want to be a burden, because I don't want to not be invited, right? And so we were able to do it, which was amazing. And then I built in the recovery time, after the fact. Now, my most recent outing, the biggest one, I think, is there's this band that plays not too far from me on Sundays early, 5 until 8. There's a group of about 20 people that go. They want me to go. So I say, okay, we'll give it a go. And again, all the tools, everything. So I say, all right. So I go, and I think I can handle 5 till 8. Come on, 7 years later. And but the venue is smaller, and so I guess the sounds are louder. So I go, and the thing about this crowd, it's like an old girls crowd, and so it starts at 5. People are on the dance floor at 10 after 5, so they don't waste any time. And so I have my cane, dancing, and I'm like, okay, yay, right? I lasted until 6. In theory, I lasted until 6. I didn't notice it until 6:30. So my friends noticed it at 6, and they're all in tune, and they could tell from my eyes. I was still working on awareness, so I didn't notice until 6:30. But then at 6:30, I need to go. I need to get out of here now. Fortunately, it's not too far from me. So I had a contingency plan, and I said to my friends, if it's too much, I'm going to go. You guys stay, because I don't want them to have to disrupt their good time, they wouldn't have it. And so at 6:30, when I said I had to go, this one friend drove me home and was able to go back, to the venue and have a good time. I was very disappointed that I only lasted 1 hour, an hour and a half. I thought I could have lasted longer, because it's early. I didn't listen to a lot of stimuli beforehand, things like that. I haven't been back. I've been invited back, but I'm a little bit hesitant still. But I know that if I'm going to build tolerance, I have to keep going back to these things. I have to keep, trying. But it was a little, there's 2 ways I can look at it. It's a little disheartening to know I couldn't even last until 8 o'clock, at the same time, I lasted, right? I went to, just the effort though to get dressed and ready to go and all that stuff for 1 hour. It's like, oh boy, okay. Anyway, so that is the most recent in terms of trying to build in, still just keep on trying to build in more fun. I've started to go to the theater, which for 6 years, no. So I've just started, but again, with a very kind friend who picks me up. I wear these sunglasses in most of the time. We try to be really mindful of what we choose. The same even with movies, I have to be mindful of the genre. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this as well. It's not new information, but I guess I'm here to say though that I don't know, does it get better? Yes. Again, where I've come, I'm still not able to read a book, and magazines a little bit. Newspapers scare me because my brain doesn't tolerate them. So I use audio. I'm starting to be able to listen to some more music again, which is good. But it's a daily challenge. So I guess for me, my story is that we can do it. We can do it. We get thrown these things, and surprisingly enough, even to your own self, on days you feel like you can't, those are the days you actually you are doing more than you even realize. Just to be able to say you can't means you can, means you are, means you're surviving. Survival is different for many people, and again, I don't know, we just do it, don't we? One thing I have to really say that helps me with fun, we'll get back to fun. Sometimes you want to have fun, but you don't even want to know what you want to eat today, let alone how to create a way to entertain yourself, how to make that decision. What am I going to do for fun? Oh, it's too much work, it's too much effort. Contrary to what I first thought, Bayar has really given me the platform to have some fun because they've created activities already. So I don't have to think. I just have to show up. Hi, Jenny. I just have to show up. They've already created this backdrop. They've already created a bit of ridiculousness. All of us brain individuals with weapons at the archery, So when I tell I don't know what the word is for non-brain injured people, but we'll have to think of a word. When I tell those people, oh, I went to archery today and we're all off balance with our weapons and trying to go, what, right? What, oh, what'd you say? And I had trouble with the idea myself, never doing archery ever in my life, let alone as a brain injured survivor. I found it, but I went. I wasn't going to go. And at the encouragement of our people, I went and I thought, well, I'll just go and be a cheerleader in the background. Next thing you know, I'm kicking butt with these arrows. And it was a good time. And then all of their programs, because they have pre-existing programs for us, we just need to show up. And then amongst us, the fun can just happen because we already know our issues. We already know we've got some, brain injury. So that's a given. So we don't have to explain ourselves. We don't have to do anything. We just have to show up. But they've created a backdrop for us that we can either participate or not. But just by showing up, there's a level of goofiness, if you will. There's a level of I don't know. I remember once I was really, really upset with myself. I wasn't going to go. It was archery. I wasn't going to go. I felt I didn't deserve to go because I had left my stove on and the fire alarm went, and I was really distraught about the situation. And I thought, I'm not even going to go to this thing. How dare I go, but I pushed myself. And then when I went, there was another member there. When I was able to still talk about what was happening in amongst this really great backdrop, right? In the fields of bow and arrows, that's what they're called, bow and arrows. And this person, she said to me in the way she said it, I'll never forget it. She with this big, beautiful smile, and she went, oh, I've almost killed my whole family trying to burn my house down, forgetting to leave the stove off. Oh, and she just said it with such flair and fun and after the fact, and then went on to say, you need to get one of those stoves that shut off on their own, which I didn't even know existed. So A, I learned something, but B, I learned I was not alone. And while I was so disheartened and beating myself up, just the way she went, oh, it was wonderful. It was really wonderful. So Bayar has really helped me personally become a lifeline. We have another circumstance where my other friend, we were taking one of the art classes, and there was just the two of us in the class. And I don't know what happened, but she was doing something. We're over Zoom, and she spilled her coffee all over everything, like the rug and the carpet. And then I bent down to pick up my ornament. I spilled my ornament, dropped my ornament. It got caught in my hair. I didn't realize. So I come up and I've got this ornament hanging from my hair. She's got coffee everywhere. All we did was giggle. The three of us. So it's these small little moments, and that's one thing I have to credit Bayar for and thank Bayar for, because Bayar didn't ask me to say any of this, but we sometimes we can't think of what to do. Sure, we want to have fun. Sure, we want to be positive. Sure, we want to, but I don't even want to get out of bed right now. How am I going to accomplish all of that? Well, within these little groups, within these little sub activities, there's an opportunity for us to participate. And when we participate, whether we like it or not, our mood elevates, I also learned so much from my other peers as well. I see on chat that we have walks in the park, these beautiful pictures of flowers, these beautiful, everything is different for everyone, and what gives you that great feeling. But oh my goodness, they're just beautiful. So I feel that if we can, take a little bit every day, whether it's in what you wear, whether it's in your decor, whether it's in what you're eating, whether it's in who you're dealing with, who's in your life. We got to have this. I learned this term as well. I learned so much from this community called micro joy. We've got to grab a little bit of joy here and there, even amongst the muck, and we will prevail, because, like it or not, we exist still. We are in the world. We do exist. We navigate it. We participate in it. We thrive in it. So that's a bit of my jam, I suppose. What's that? Oh, oh, so my friend who's here, Fiona, so she just asked me, okay, so one of my first outings, the first outing, again, I just got my Wheel-Tran wheels. It's like first, it's like, okay, woo. So my friend and I are going to the Toronto Island because there's an art show that I think I was exposed to through either BIST or BIAR. There's this woman who has an art show on brain injury. She's got all these amazing paintings. She had them in the subway, and she also has them at this art, what we thought was an art gallery on Toronto Island. So my first outing, let's make it simple. I've got to get to Harbourfront. I've got to get a ferry, a water ferry. I've got to get to this, what I think is the art gallery. I'm schlepping my walker. Oh my God, like it was a whole big deal. We finally get there. It's not a gallery, it's a cafe, it's a patio with, you can buy a big thing of booze, like a pitcher of booze for, whatever. And so by the time we get there, we get in, we figure it out, we go right to the patio. We saw, okay, pitcher, patio, okay, let's go. We get there. I'm so stressed about the Wheel-Trans home because, again, it's my first time. I'm not sure where to pick it up, and it's a drama anyway. But I'm so stressed around that. In all of our anticipation and in all of our excitement, we forgot to look at the painting. We we didn't realize until we got home that oh shoot, right? We were here for something. And that big damn pitcher of booze that we got, we couldn't even drink it. Like, you can't really drink with a brain injury. We couldn't even drink it. We just thought that we could, ooh, right? So we ended up giving it to this table of, like, there were a table of 14 guys behind us. We're like, here's they were, wow. But we forgot to see the painting. We forgot our purpose of even going, but it gave us, it's now still another story and gives us something, to giggle about. And yes, at least we did make it to the, we did it, right? We just like, okay. Getting me home though, I went to the wrong spot. And so my friend had to go to the other spot, and it was a thing, right? It was a thing, but we did it. And it didn't stop me. When I travel to buy our things, it's literally 5 hours there and back on Wheel-Trans for me to go to another district. And then I recently went to a baby shower in Peel. And because when you belong to Wheel-Trans, you can join other districts. So Peel, Vaughan, and Durham. And when I was invited to a baby shower, and I have always said, no, 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 no. And now I thought, I'm going to try to go, and people couldn't come and get me. So I'm going to try to go. So I went. It was bizarre. Because I was way out in parts of Toronto I didn't even know existed. And it was a Sunday, and like there's no traffic. I was in the Humber College in the middle of nowhere with no people, and it was bizarre. Anyway, but I finally get home. It took a lot to get me there. The driver said to me, "You went where? And you're going where?" I said, I had a baby shower and I'm tired of saying no, I want to go. He said, "So you traveled to Brampton?" I said, "Yes." "From South Toronto, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "How long have you been traveling?" I said, "This is like a 7 hour," right? He said, "Oh my God." He said, "I give you so much credit. Oh my God." And he's the driver, he's able-bodied driver, I didn't think anything of it in terms of credit or not. I think if we stop sometimes and say, "Oh, it will involve this, and this," we won't do it. So it's a fine line of, I've got to get there. I've got to continue to be a part of society, be a part of my little world, to be a part. I can't say no. I've got to move it and shake it somehow. And so that determination helps me not question what's involved. Now, sometimes I've been stuck in the pouring rain and you can't do an umbrella and a walker, it doesn't work, or a cane and an umbrella, it doesn't work. So without a raincoat and missing connections and I stuck in the woods, but that's part of the adventure. I think that would happen. I just look at it as though I was traveling Europe on my own, backpacking, only I'm backpacking differently and in parts of the world here. So if I do that, and as long as I have my coffee, I have one of the first things I got on my walker, if I had to have that thing, was a coffee holder. I said, I need to, I need my nice coffee. And so now I can go kerplunk anywhere. Another thing, these things are just sort of coming, but another thing with my walker, I wanted to throw it out the window. I really resented even needing one. But as I've come around, because I do have a great seat now anywhere, one of the things I do is I take a little speaker. I've got a little speaker. And so I put it in the basket of the walker. And as I'm strolling down the street, I play whatever. People aren't used to hear. I don't play it too loud. Maybe at some of the buyer things I do, but in the world I don't. But people are kind of looking like, where's that music coming from? They're not expecting it from a walker. And so I'm strolling down the avenue with my walker, with my tunes playing, and people just part, and let me by, and they smile because they hear this music. I'm like the ice cream truck without ice cream, right? And it makes them smile, which makes me smile, right? And so it's all of those little bits of joy within this madness that we find ourselves in. Is that helpful to anyone? Can I get a
Yes, thank you so much.
right? Yay.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, no. What's there to ask, really?
I have a statement.
Yeah.
I have a statement. Having been along for the ride, the past 7 years, your recovery has been remarkable, and your ability to take the difficult times, Lori, and make them joyful is a gift to all of us. So, as your case manager, thank you. But as part of the Buy Our board and seeing your impact on our members, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, that's Sugar Man in the back there. My head, he's decided to enjoy.
Best cat ever.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have animals, but boy, oh boy, what a godsend that is to help in recovery. If you don't have one, if you didn't have one before, they sure are helpful now. That goes without saying. He was so used to me not being home, because when I worked in my other life, I would be gone 12, 14 hours a day, and he was fine. Now I've gone 2 hours. He's like, "Oh, woman, rub my belly. Where have you been?" Yeah, he's been a little godsend too. So that's been good.
Lori, thank you. I'm new to the board, but you impress me every time.
Thank you.
And finding the joy, I love that, because I think that's a lesson we all need to learn.
Mhm.
Not just, after an event that really changes your whole life, but I think you taught us all that we all need to stop and just find the micro joy. I love that term. So thank you.
You're welcome. I even, so just for, what's the word? Silliness, if you will. I spent more time setting up the backdrop here so that this looks fun for you guys, right? So I pulled out all my fluff and my rearranged things and said, okay, looking at the square, because for me, it makes me giggle and it brings me joy, and the endorphins, my environment, there's nothing a feather can't fix. And so my environment really is helpful. And so I wanted it to be a fun background for you guys as well.
It looks great.
Thank you. Hi, Ellie. Hi, darling.
Hi, Laurie. Just want to say how amazing you are, and the talk was amazing and very uplifting and inspirational. And yeah, thank you so much. And I was laughing the whole time with my camera off, but
Oh,
thank
good.
you.
Do I close us out with like a dance song?
I'll say yes.
That's too loud, Rachel. Yeah, okay. For those that's overstimulating, you can put it on mute, right? For Rachel just went pale. Oh, I'm always in trouble when it comes to the music. Yeah, it was my pleasure. Let me turn that down. I'll behave. It was my pleasure. I hope again, there's so many tangents we could discuss with all of our stories and our injuries and where we are and where we're at. And but I hope just again, little theme of fun will resonate somewhere in all of you at some point. And if not, find it. And if you are not around people, I'll maybe end with this. If there are people in your life that can't handle it, get rid of them. They need not be there. Our recovery, it takes too long. It's too difficult. I know it's easier. It's fine for me to say as I live alone, get rid of them. Some of them you might be related to, but but we have to, I've in my experience, I've had to learn forgiveness and tolerance of others, even more so than they have to be tolerant of me, I think. So I send them love, but I also have learned we don't need it. We've got so much to get through every day that any toxicity, there's a lot of people who don't understand what we go through because it's an invisible disability. Look how fabulous you all look, right? So there's just no room for toxic people. If people don't get it, that's okay. That's their journey. That we forgive them, but move on. Right. So hi, Laurie.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, good to now that I see you.
Yeah, I had to bounce in and out a little bit. My internet, I don't know what happened, so hopefully
Yeah.
it'll stay. But great job with the talk, and thank you for sharing everything.
You're welcome.
And yeah, you know what? I look forward to a lot of by our events, and then when you show up, it's even a lot more fun. It's like, okay, what do we have? What's happening today? And I always like you being decked out with the bling and the music and all of that too. It's always wonderful and welcome to see. So thank you for being awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. And what I love too is this community. It's just so accepting of everyone, however you show up. It's just, it's such an accepting, beautiful community. I feel a privilege to be part of it. And I also will share, this Rachel can smirk a little bit. It took me 3 years to get there. I fought it the whole way. I fought it. What do you mean? You want me to go out to the woods to roast marshmallows at Tuesday at 1 till 3? Because if I can do that, I can be working. This is ridiculous. I need to be in clinic. I need to be in get recovered and get me back. What are you talking about, Rachel Greenwood? What? How dare you? And now I'm literally buyer. And I'm on the board even, and still figuring that out, but and they've just done so much for a lot of us. I know a lot of us feel that way, but just providing this backdrop so that we don't have to think, but we can just be, and we can show up however we are that day, good, bad, indifferent. Everybody's so accepting, and so Bayard has really been the lifeline. But yeah, I fought it for 3 years. It took them to convince me to go. So things can change, right? You never know. You never know in your life. What you may not like today, you may love tomorrow.